Are you a millennial and now have to be adult and have real life challenges you have to start to address?
If so, check out this week's Money Minutes.
All right, it's this week's Money Minutes. Ryan, Payne, Courtney, Dominguez. We're here somewhere, post office by New York City. Spring day, one of the first beautiful spring days we've had here in New York. This is Money Minutes. Every week, what we like to do is just give you some common sense advice you can apply to your planning and investing. And this week, Court, we want to talk about not just having an investment plan, but kind of having like a life plan.
Now, a lot of people will think about investments. They think about things like stocks and bonds and how can I make money and what are these exciting things I can invest in. But it's really about having a plan for your life and knowing what you're saving for, how you can accomplish those goals. It's a much bigger picture concept than the nitty-gritty of stocks and bonds.
And guess what? You might be a millennial, and millennials, you're getting older. The oldest millennials now, you might be 38, 39 years old. And now you have to have some real, what we would call life planning. You can't just wing it like you used to. So what we wanted to give you today is just a baseline, 3 things you want to be doing with your planning and investing to make sure you're on track.
The first thing we want to talk about is insurance. Now, Ryan, why do you have insurance? What's the purpose of it in your financial life?
Yeah, well, it's obviously insurance is a buzzkill because it means something bad happened. But really what it is what we would call like income replacement. So God forbid something happens to you and now you have people to provide for, like kids' education, a mortgage has to get paid off, income replacement from your job. So the reality of it is insurance is about if you're not here, how do you take care of the people in your life that are dependent on you?
And insurance really should just be a plan. You're planning for, in that unlikely event that you weren't here, that you can cover the bases that you want to cover. Now, you may already have life insurance through your work. I actually have a couple new couples who are having kids right now, and we had this conversation where he said, well, do you have enough coverage that your kids can still go to college, the mortgage can be paid off if something were to happen to you? Especially if only one spouse is working. Now, you may have something through work, and actually I had somebody that said, yeah, I'm covered, I got life insurance through work. We looked into it and they had about $100,000 of life insurance through work.
Yeah.
You laugh, I hear you laughing.
Well, it's just not enough insurance. And the thing is, the irony of insurance is, if you're in your late 30s now, you are a millennial, maybe you got married, you're getting married soon, you have kids, you need more insurance than you're going to need later because, again, those tuitions are going to cost a lot. And that mortgage, that could be $1 million right there above and beyond what income replacement you have. So you might need a couple $1 million in insurance, which you're thinking to yourself that might be a very pricey venture.
There's actually some really cost-effective options when it comes to life insurance, especially if you're younger, and the earlier you get it, the cheaper it tends to be. One great option is term insurance, which only lasts for a certain amount of time, at which point it just ends. But it covers things for when you're young, your savings plan isn't quite where you want it, but you need to cover a lot of those big expenses that would need to be planned for. It's a really cheap way of doing that, which we really like to talk to people about.
Yeah, so think about renting the insurance for the time you need it. Now, one of the mistakes that we see you make is you may get pitched, and insurance is usually sold, not bought, keep that in mind, this very expensive policy that you're paying, I don't know, maybe $50,000 a year, $20,000 a year, that builds up this cash value, but the death benefit is not that great. And remember, you probably need more insurance now than you do later. Be very careful with these policies. A lot of times, they don't solve the problem that you actually have.
Now, when it comes to life insurance, you don't want to just go into whatever place is closest to you and just buy some policy. You want to really find out what is the purpose of the policy that you're looking at, how much is it going to cost you, and how is it going to solve the goals that you're looking to fill. It needs to be a plan, not just a product that you're buying.
Okay, second base you want to have covered is maybe you have kids on the way, or your first child, second child, third child is born. You have to start thinking about funding for education. A lot of us get very nervous when we talk about that because, let's be real, Court, funding for education can be extremely expensive.
It's extremely expensive. Now, if you have a kid right now, they're gonna go to college in 18 years from now, a 4-year private institution can be upwards of $300,000 at that point in time. And it's much easier to start now and save for that, not just wait until that time and find out what it's going to cost you and have to figure it out down the line. That is not a plan that you want to figure out.
The other thing is you have a friend who has huge college debt. It's kind of like a noose around your neck when you start working. Let's face it, 18 years is not that far away. Wouldn't it be great if you could start now, be smart about it, incrementally put some money away so your kids in the future don't have that same problem or have that same worry, just being smart about what you can save and also using the right savings vehicle.
There's some really great tax advantage tools you can use to save for college. A good example of that is a 529 plan, where you can actually save money into that plan right now and you get tax benefits for that for certain states, and that money can grow for college in the future. Now, just to put that in perspective, it can cost about $1,000 a month to make sure that your kid is fully funded for one of those expensive private colleges 18 years from now. But even if you're able to put a couple $100s away a month, you're going to be way ahead of the game 18 years, not having to figure it out at that point in time.
Okay, and the third base that you want to have covered is you have to have a will. And Courtney, let me tell you, the same people that run the DMV are the ones who are going to decide where your estate goes if you don't actually put your own will in place.
It's important. I don't think
Yeah.
I want that. I want to know where my money's going if I were to pass away. Now, you're probably watching this video because you're really honing in on your savings and your investment planning, and you really want to have a game plan here. So having your estate documents like a will in place, make sure that all of that's not for nothing, and that if you were to pass away, everything that you have done such a hard job saving for goes to the people that you want it to go to, your family or your heirs, and those people who, in your life, you want to benefit from that. Now, that being said, also make sure that your beneficiaries are up to date on things like your 401k or your IRA accounts. Now, you may have, from when you just started working, your parents still on your 401k, but if you're now married and have kids and you've never updated that, it doesn't matter what your will said, those accounts are going to whoever you had listed in the first place if you haven't changed it. So make sure those are up to date as well.
What you're learning here today is having a financial plan is not just about having an investment plan. It's about having a life plan. That's everything from having your insurance in place. Start funding your kids' education now. Get your wills in place. And if you're thinking to yourself, I need to get all these things done, we do complimentary reviews every single week if you qualify. You can click on the link below, click on the email, send an email to us, and just put in the subject line review and see if you qualify. We can help you get these things set up, make sure your whole plan's in place, have that life plan in place. If you like our content, you're enjoying our weekly advice, you can subscribe, click on the link below and subscribe to our YouTube channel, or someone who could benefit from our advice. That's this week's Money Minutes. As always, be bullish.